have to tell you, Darren Sproles back to receive all around town. You see those 12 flags. It was on top of the Space Needle. These fans are ready to go. And Sproles will return the opening kick. The Seahawks won the toss. They deferred to put their D out there first.
And I think that already shows that the weather will factor. The wind blowing to the north, the open end of the stadium. Seattle wins, but defers to take that win, try to get out to an early lead.
We've seen all kinds of weather so far today. Monsoon-like conditions about an hour and a half before the game, and then the sun came out. But now there's another big front supposed to move on in. Rain, swirling winds, you name it. You can kind of see from that picture. Stephen Housegood kicks it off, and we're underway in the divisional playoffs. And this one goes out the back of the end zone. The Saints will take over on their own 20 behind Drew Brees off another historic season. Fourth time for 5,000 yards. It's an amazing accomplishment. Only player with 4. No one else has done it more than once.
That's incredible. He's an incredible player. The one thing that's interesting, of late, the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, their play caller and head coach, have relied on the run game more often for these type of situations.
Pierre Thomas inactive today for New Orleans, so you'll see a lot of Mark Ingram and Kyrie Robinson as well, who gets the ball here. Kyrie Robinson, a rookie from West Texas A&M.
This is a guy that New Orleans Saints have liked from the beginning of the year. We had them week 2. Sean Payton said he is probably our most talented runner of the football. Expect to see him a lot today.
Darren Sproles in the game in the backfield. Now it's a 2nd and 6. And the give is to Sproles. Looking for a seam. Nowhere to go. Cam Chancellor with the big play.
Cam Chancellor, an enforcer at the safety position. They're going to toss it to Darren Sproles, and watch, out of nowhere, here comes Cam Chancellor, an excellent tackler. That's what this Seattle defense does well. They fly to the football, and then they finish. A great tackling defense.
Mark Ingram in the game on a 3rd and 6. 4-man rush. They set up the screen. Ingram can't corral it. And a 3-and-out for New Orleans on the opening possession.
Well, Mark Ingram was set up on that screen to have some success. His blockers in front of him, he simply dropped the football. They talk about starting fast, staying in the game, not the start you want for the New Orleans Saints.
Golden Tate's back to return the punt. He's had a good year. He's had 8 punt returns of 20 yards or more, 3rd in the league. And Morstead bobbles the snap and gets off a terrible kick. And the wet weather playing a factor there. And the Seahawks with tremendous field position. Look where they're marking this one off. All the way up at the 40.
Watch. Relatively simple thing, not in this weather. Right through Thomas Morstead's hands. Does a good job to regather and get the football, but then shanks the punt. Seahawks ball on the 40-yard line.
Just a 16-yard punt, and the Seahawks on their opening possession of the playoffs behind Russell Wilson. 15 home wins in his first 2 years. No one's ever done that. Marshawn Lynch is the back. Told you about Percy Harvin being active and ready to go today. You heard Pete Carroll say he would play a lot. Not in the game on this first possession. It's Lynch, and Lynch hit immediately and dropped for no gain. Here comes Percy Harvin in the game for the first time today. Johnny's played just 19 snaps all year for the Seahawks. Made that big trade with Minnesota in the offseason.
Well, that's all true, but why they gave up so much for him? He's a game-breaking type player. Could be the X factor in this football game.
It's a 2nd and 10. They're going to get him involved right away. And right away, the Saints up on it. Malcolm Jenkins was there to make a terrific stop, and a loss for Harvin. So a 3rd and long is coming up.
Excellent job of Malcolm Jenkins and this Saints defense rallying to the football. Get numbers to a gifted athlete like Percy Harvin. The 2 safeties, Harper and Jenkins, do it right there.
The Saints defense under Rob Ryan in his first year. Look at the strides they made. Biggest in history as far as getting better goes.
Sean Payton brought Rob Ryan in after a historic bad season. Said we needed someone to make us feel better about ourselves. He sure has done that.
Seahawks need to get to the 30 on third down. Wilson looking for Harvin, and incomplete. And there goes the flag. They're going to get Raphael Bush on the hit, and Harvin is down and hurt.
Defense number 25, ill-advised out to the head of the defensive player. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Russell Wilson sees a matchup he likes right away, going after Trevin Wade, a backup corner to Percy Harvin. But you see Raphael Bush come over with the shoulder. But this is a shoulder to the neck and head area. Those are the rules in this day and age of the NFL, even in the playoffs.
Boy, that's such a hard hit. He knocked his mouthpiece right out, and now Harvin has been injured all year with a hip. Now you wonder if he's okay, but it does give Seattle a first down on the Saints' 27-yard line. That's Jermaine Kearse in motion. And here's Marshawn Lynch trying to get going, running through tacklers. And Marshawn Lynch going to pick up 5 on first down.
Well, that is vintage Marshawn Lynch. Yards after contact. The first tackler rarely gets him down. He's strong. He keeps his legs churning. He's always falling forward. And when he is, that's a good sign for the Seattle Seahawks.
Make it a 2nd and 5. And looked like some confusion on the give to Lynch here, and he's going to get buried for a big loss. He's going to lose 5 on the play. Cam Jordan elected to the Pro Bowl for the first time in his career. The reason why.
You're no doubt about it on the confusion. Russell Wilson thought that Marshawn Lynch was on the other side. Does a nice job to adjust. Lucky that football didn't pop out. But Junior Gillette now down on the field for the New Orleans Saints. A key edge pass rusher.
Well, Gillette is a big reason why this defense has gotten so much better as they work on that lower leg ankle area. He was 6th in the NFL in sacks this season. And he, along with Cam Jordan, really the bookends in Rob Ryan's defense that put the Saints team 4th in the league in sacks. So Gillette walking off, but not particularly thrilled. Now the Seahawks are faced with a 3rd down and 9.
Kevin, you bring up an interesting point with Gillette and Cam Jordan and the interior push. The New Orleans Saints 49 sacks on the year. We hear so much about this vaunted Seattle pass rush. New Orleans has more sacks on the season than the Seattle Seahawks do.
John, Seattle struggled here the last month of the season. They're just 27% on 3rd down the last 4 games. 3rd and 9 for Russell Wilson and company. From the 26, Wilson over the middle. He's got Baldwin, but a heck of a tackle there. Will be shy of a first down. It was Roman Harper, and so now it's a field goal try.
And that's what good defenses do. You may get some catches on him, but you watch Roman Harper playing zone defense, reading the eyes of Russell Wilson. You break on the football, you make a good solid tackle in space. Good execution by Roman Harper in this New Orleans Saints defense.
And so now it'll be a field goal try for Hauschka, who had a tremendous year, 33 of 35, and one of those kicks was blocked. This from 38. John Ryan, the punter, is the holder. And Hauschka through the wind gives the Seahawks the early lead, but New Orleans D does their job. 3-0 Seattle in the first. Through the eyes of a rainbow trout as we look at the 12th man flag from the Seattle Aquarium. So the Seahawks get an early field goal, but really a good job by the Saints defense. It was a 16-yard punt by Morstead after he bumbled the snap. And the only reason Seattle moved was because of the 15-yard penalty on that man, Raphael Bush. So they do take the early 3-0 lead, and now the Saints send Darren Sproles back to receive. And Hausgood will kick it off. This one returnable if he chooses, and instead Sproles will take a knee and put the Saints on the 20. Percy Harvin, we told you about his return. He's played 2 plays, and he took this hit from Raphael Bush. Now he's going in to be looked at. Keep an eye on him. 3-0 Seahawks here in the first. This is what we're unveiling for the playoffs, John. It's called the Flying Salmon Count. That's awesome. It's at Pike's Market here in downtown Seattle. It's famous. They do that all the time. Someone goes in, buys a fish, they throw it around, and now the Seahawks defense looking to throw people around. As the Saints have their second possession on the 20, and it's Ingram who gets the ball. And fighting hard, and a good run for Mark Ingram. He's going to have 8 yards. A big week against Philadelphia last week. And with Pierre Thomas inactive, the Saints, look at the numbers from last week. Saints, I think, kind of feel like they've got to be active in the run game, John.
Absolutely. You're looking for a game that travels. In this stadium, you can't go back and throw 45 times. You've got to have balance in your offense. They have of late, and it's served them well.
Benjamin Watson in motion on 2nd and 3. Try Ingram again, and he's got a first down and more. Mark Ingram with consecutive solid runs. Earl Thomas made the tackle, but the Saints, after the 10-yard carry, have their first down.
This is an excellent run. Good job by Ben Grubbs, the left guard, getting out in front, getting hands on McDaniel, the defensive tackle, and then Mark Ingram doing an outstanding job of running. And there's Earl Thomas doing what he does, picking up the trash. If something gets through, it's not going to get through for long.
Tyree Robinson in there. The undrafted rookie from West Texas A&M. They fake it to him. Breeze has time. Now they'll get to Robinson. Good stiff arm. Robinson into Seahawk territory. That's a heck of a stiff arm, shoving Bruce Irvin out of the way, and a 13-yard gain.
Now Kyrie Robinson, we're going to see him catch the football, elude the tackler. But this is a guy that Sean Payton alluded to the fact we may see him a lot. He said his old mentor, Bill Parcells, called him this week and said, Sean, what are you doing? You got Curtis Martin right in front of your eyes, and you're not doing anything with him. Give him the ball. Sean Payton taking heed.
That's high praise. He's in there again. He'll get it again. And Robinson with another good run as he's inside the 45-yard line and a gain of 4. Irvin on the tackle, and he's doing it against the Seattle D that has been unbelievable against the rush of late.
They had some problems in the middle of the year. Back-to-back games with teams going over 200 yards, St. Louis and Tampa, but boy, have they addressed that. Have been stifling as a run defense.
Second down and 6. Ingram in the game at tailback now. And they'll run it again. Ingram gets to the edge. Big run from Mark Ingram before Earl Thomas knocks him out of bounds. But Ingram inside the 35 is going to pick up 12.
And you like what the New Orleans Saints are doing. They aren't getting up to the line of scrimmage and trying to audibilize. Jed Collins, the fullback, right there with the key block. And watch the way Mark Ingram finishes this run. Earl Thomas, he runs right through him. We told you it was going to be a fight. It's showing that early.
Saints had 185 rushing yards at Philadelphia last weekend, and on their second possession, they've already got 38 on the ground. On first down, and Robinson that time gets belted by Cam Chancellor. He'll pick up 1. So an early commitment to the run by Sean Payton.
Kevin, I think one thing that's apparent right away, the Saints are handling this environment better. They're getting up to the line of scrimmage. The running plays with tempo. Last time they really got negative plays because of communication errors. Not happening here today.
7th play of the drive on 2nd and 10. They're going to set it up to Sproles, who had trouble catching it and then gets hit for a big loss. It's Bobby Wagner. Seattle was ready for that one.
Well, you know that New Orleans loves to screen, and this is what you have to do in the screen game. You go get a guy like Darren Sproles. You don't wait. He splits the two linemen, then finishes the play. That's an outstanding football play by Bobby Wagner, the middle linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, twice the Saints have tried that screen play, and twice it has not worked. It's 3rd and 13. They'll hit Sproles up the gut, and Sproles gets decked. They'll be shy of a first down, and that will allow New Orleans to try a field goal here. Earl Thomas, Michael Bennett on the stop.
And that's tremendous hustle by Michael Bennett. That's what you see from these Seattle Seahawks. Their guys are ferocious in the pass rush, but you get a screen pass, their defensive linemen turning and running and getting back in on the tackle.
A couple weeks ago, Sean Payton made a gutsy move. He cut longtime kicker Garrett Hartley, and he signed Shane Graham, who won the game for the Saints at Philly. Went 4 for 4 last week. This from 45 yards out. Not an easy kick in this weather today. Morstead the hole. This one is no good. Wide left. Graham's first miss as a Saint, and the Seahawks take over. So the Saints put together a good drive, but Shane Graham can't tie it up. Just missed through the rain in Seattle. 3-0 Seahawks here in the first.
Well, we saw the miss from Graham, but he's going to be having a conversation with his holder, Luke McCown. He gave him the laces. That's not a good thing, and Shane Graham pays for it. Opportunities like that you can't give away trying to beat a team like the Seattle Seahawks.
Meanwhile, good news for Seattle. Percy Harvin is back in the game. He's in the slot, top of your screen. So obviously he's okay after taking that vicious hit from Bush. Wilson steps up and no room to run. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage.
Kevin, you talk about Percy Harvin. We saw early in the game Russell Wilson identifying a matchup he liked, going after it, taking it down the field. And here's the play. Raphael Bush got 15 yards on it. But I promise you, people on that sideline, not too concerned about that. That's setting a physical tone, saying we are not going to be dominated. This time's different than last time. Saints have come to play.
It's Lynch hurdling over people across the 40. Good run by Lynch. Will pick up 6. And it was Corey White with Roman Harper on the tackle.
Talk about coming to play and playing physically. That's what Marshawn Lynch does on a regular basis. Hasn't been as productive of late. This offense has struggled in the last month compared to what they've done all season. But he was ready. He was chomping at the bit on practice the other day. He said it's time to get busy, and he's doing it.
On 3rd and 4. 4-man rush over the middle. First down for Seattle. So they go over the middle. Golden Tate. And again, Bush came in, John, trying to bring the heavy hit. Gain of 13.
Kevin, we talked about the recent struggles on 3rd down. No struggles here. Russell Wilson with authority to Golden Tate, who's become his #1 receiver. But Raphael Bush playing a physical brand of football right there, and I think he left Golden Tate a little woozy.
So Bush with a couple of big hits so far. On 1st down, they'll throw it. Wilson flush, going to flip it to Lynch, who tiptoes in bounds, but then had to step out after a short game. Give him about 2 on the play. Well, you saw that stat line on Marshawn Lynch before the wild card game against the Saints, January 2011, 67-yard run. People in Seattle know that as the Beastquake, John, and he's had tremendous 3 seasons here in Seattle.
Well, they give it to him a lot. They went out and acquired him. Pete Carroll had played against him in college. He was at Cal. Pete Carroll, obviously, down at USC. He wanted him. He coveted him. He got him, and he said he closes the circle on toughness on this football team.
And they give it to him here. Lynch with a nice cut, and he's up near a first down. That'll move the sticks for Seattle. 7 yards on the run.
Tremendous job but movement by Michael Bowie, the newly inserted starter at the left guard position, and Max Unger, the center. And a guy like that, we talk about his physicality, also a very nimble athlete, great vision, got all the components that you want in a running back.
Lynch gets a break here. That's Robert Turbin in the game down the backfield, and Harvin back in the game in the slot right. Here's Turbin's first carry of the game, and he has a good run right up the middle. Turbin's going to pick up 5 for Hawthorne, and Jenkins got him.
I mentioned the fact that Michael Bowie is starting at the left guard position. And an awful strange thing for a #1 seed, Kevin. You've played the entire year. He started 9 games, but they were at right tackle. That one was at right guard. During the bye week, Pete Carroll said the guy was playing too good. They had been having some struggles at the left guard position. During the bye week, he let him compete. He said he was the best during those 2 weeks of practice. They inserted him, a really bold move by Pete Carroll.
And this is not going to go anywhere. Maybe a yard to Turbin. And that'll bring up a 3rd down. And with the bye, does that kind of move give you a little bit more time to get comfortable there? Because you did have the 2 weeks to kind of have the practice with him.
Absolutely, because there's so much of offensive line play is continuity, and that's why it's a questionable call. I mean, but like I said, it's bold, and Pete Carroll has always been bold, but the bye week certainly helped in terms of the communication.
3rd down and 5 for Seattle. Wilson looking over there behind Golden Tate. He had him on the slant, but he just missed him. And that'll bring up a 4th down.
Haven't played the safety position. You want to let people know they come in your zone and they're going to pay for it. Raphael Bush has done that, and that affects throws like that. Golden Tate going into the middle of the field. I promise you, he's aware. Not an accurate throw, but there's Raphael Bush, and he's letting them know I'm going to be here all day. And Golden Tate saying, I know, I felt it.
There's a 49-yard field goal try by Stephen Hausto within his range, and the wind is at his back. John Ryan puts a high hold down, and that one is going to power on through. So a couple of Stephen Hausto field goals through the wind in Seattle. And it's got the Seahawks up 6-0. 37 seconds to go in the first. Pete Carroll's crew in front. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance as we get a great look at the Emerald City, the Space Needle, coming up on your screen. And here in Seattle, where the Seahawks have built a 6-0 first quarter lead. Saints defense has not been the problem, but special teams have had a huge impact in this game so far. Saints bobbled a punch, missed a field goal. Meanwhile, Hausto's got 2 field goals of his own, and that's the story. Now kicking off again to Darren Sproles, who will take the knee, and the Saints will have it on the 20. Drew Brees gets to work for the 3rd time. His team down by 6. Weather's been all over the place. About an hour and a half for the game. It was pouring, very, very windy, and coming down cold and hard. You see the wind gusts, 30, 40-mile-an-hour gusts. But then the sun came out, and it's been on and off. I mean, around 47, you see the wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. It's kind of raining here, and the wind swirling has clearly been a factor already. As we've got 37 seconds to go in the first quarter, the NFL Divisional playoffs in Seattle. The #1 seed Seahawks, the #6 seed the Saints. And Drew Brees at the controls for the 3rd time today with Mark Ingram getting the ball on 1st down. And Ingram puts down the shoulders. Richard Sherman will make the tackle. That may take us to the end of the first quarter. Seahawks defense this year in the first quarter has allowed 22 total points, no touchdowns.
Unbelievable. And for that reason, and for another reason, the wind, the Saints can't wait for this quarter to end. A great decision by Pete Carroll to defer, give the ball to Drew Brees. 6 points as a result for the Seattle Seahawks.
And so the Saints will take the ferry to the other side of the field, and we've completed 1 quarter in Seattle. 6-0 Seahawks, divisional playoffs on Fox. Seattle has been the toughest place to play in the NFL for the opposition. They're 15-1 here the last 2 years. Weather a factor, and certainly you can expect a physical game where it's 6-0 Seahawks as we get set for quarter number 2. Along with John Lynch, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. John, the weather kind of knew it was going to be a factor when you woke up this morning, but it's played into this one so far.
No doubt about it. I think a brilliant decision by Pete Carroll. I want to emphasize it again, to defer, give the ball to Drew Brees, and play with the win in the first quarter. It's got him a 6-0 lead. Now the Saints have the wind in their favor.
And we'll see how that changes things. If they give to Ingram, and Seahawks believe he fumbled. No signal yet. Let's see. Ingram does not have the ball. The Seahawks do. And there's your first turnover. So on the first play of the second quarter, Mark Ingram fumbles, in Seattle with terrific field position.
That's what the Seattle Seahawks thrive on. They're the #1 team in the league with a +20 turnover differential coming in. It's Michael Bennett who makes the hit, pops the ball out, and it's Michael Bennett that comes up with the football. See Michael Bennett going low on Mark Ingram. Ball's out. And Michael Bennett wins that fight for the ball. This is Seahawks football. It's all about the ball. It's what Pete Carroll emphasizes on a daily basis.
John, that's the 40th takeaway for Seattle. 40th, #1 in the league. Percy Harvin, that's him in motion. And the Seahawks are the first down. They give to Harvin on the reverse. Harvin inside the 15, knocking people over, but he stepped out of bounds just inside the 15. And now a little skirmish. It's been chippy since before this thing started.
We've got a little fly sweep. This is a college football play that they put in for Percy Harvin. We saw it at practice the other day. That's what you want to do with a tremendous athlete like Percy Harvin. You get him the ball in space. Little stiff arm by Harvin. He's feeling it. He's happy to be back, and they're happy to have him.
Second down and 1 with Lynch in the backfield. They give it to Marshawn. First down. Good cut. Lynch in for a touchdown. Seahawks get the turnover and a 15-yard touchdown run for Marshawn Lynch.
You're going to watch David Hawthorne right here. He's responsible for Marshawn Lynch. Instead, Zach Miller, a tremendous job blocking down. The cornerback stays outside for Russell Wilson, and Marshawn Lynch does the rest. The Seahawks taking advantage of the turnover as they have all season long.
That's the 15th overall touchdown for Lynch. Haskell's extra point up and good. And this place is bumping in Seattle. It's all Seahawks. Early second quarter, 13-0 up on the Saints. That would be the Beast Burger. They serve them up in Seattle with Skittles. Why? Because Marshawn Lynch eats them as his power pellets. And look, after he scores, it's showering Skittles here in Seattle, John. I mean, I have to admit, they are quite delectable at times. And this has to feel awfully similar to the Saints, who were down 17-0 to the Seahawks in the first quarter when they met in Week 13. Here's Sproles taking it out of the end zone. Good return, and Sproles is up to the 24. The night before Super Bowl 48, find out who will take home the NFL's most prestigious awards. Tune in for the announcement of Rookie of the Year, MVP of 2014 Hall of Fame class, and more. Saturday, February 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. Well, here's what it looked like Week 13 in Seattle. You know, they had that good second drive today, but they missed the field goal, and look where you are all of a sudden.
Against a team like this in their house, you have to take advantage of your opportunities. We've seen the missed field goal. We saw the turnover. That's the difference in this game right now.
Now the noise a factor. It's Kyrie Robinson. with a good cut and a good run and a Saints first down. And John, you hit it. Sean Payton was high on him this week. Bill Parcells called, and he's getting the call. His 4th carry today for 21 yards.
Well, when Bill Parcells calls and tells you to play someone, you'd be a smart man to play him. And Kyrie Robinson, after Sean Payton told us about Parcells likening him to Curtis Martin, I went back and watched the film. There's a lot of similarities. I played a lot of football against Curtis Martin. He resembles him a lot.
Robinson was a D2 All-American. He rushed for 1,621 yards at West Texas A&M. But they'll throw it here. Rain coming down. Breeze overshoots Lance Moore. A big gust of wind in the rain. Just started coming down pretty heavy.
Now, there's no doubt about it. You watch the ball come out of Drew Brees' hands. This guy can spin it like no other. And that ball just goes high and flutters on him from the beginning. He's got the glove on. They practiced with that glove all week with the wet ball drills. Didn't work right there.
He came out earlier, did not have the glove on for warm-ups, but then put it on. But that one got away from him. And now it's 2nd and 10. Breeze on the fake, in and out of the hands of Josh Hill. And that ball was high from Drew Brees.
And when you see that from a player like Drew Brees, accuracy is his calling card. One of the most accurate throwers in the National Football League, and it's just not happening. Could he have caught that ball? Absolutely, but he's struggling with the wet as well. Weather's certainly a factor.
On 3rd and 10, here comes Chris Clemens. Breeze avoids, over the middle, knocked away. Thurman there to knock it down, and the Saints will punt it.
Well, this is Seahawks football. You get the turnover, you turn it into points, then you get them in 3rd and long, and you rush the passer. You play tight coverage. Walter Thurman on Marcus Colston all over him. Seahawks playing their brand of football and being very successful in doing so.
Now Morstead, who bobbled the snap earlier. This time it's a much better kick. Backing up Golden Tate. Great kick, actually. There's a flag. And Tate runs it out across the 13, but Seattle may be moving backwards as a penalty flag there after a 55-yard punt.
There's Jeremy Lane working on Kyle Knox, defensive lineman out at the gunner position, and he gets a hold right there.
Holding, receiving team, number 20. After this is the goal, first down, timeout.
Jimmy Graham hasn't caught a pass yet, and the Saints find themselves in a 13-0 hole in Seattle. First 3 possessions for the Seahawks have resulted in 13 points. Got a little help. They got a bad punt, and then, of course, the Mark Ingram fumble that they took in from 24 yards out. And it's 13-0 as their offense will go against the wind now for the first time today.
As I mentioned, that's Seahawks football. It's all about the ball. They turn the ball over. They take the football away, and then they make good on it with points.
After the penalty, backed up on their own 7 is Marshawn Lynch, who is hit up across the 10. He's going to pick up about 3.5. Fox UFC Saturday returns on January 25th. Seattle's own Benson Henderson takes on Josh Thompson, plus a full card of epic bouts. Coverage begins prelims Fox Sports 1, then switch to Fox main card at 8. Again, you see a little testy down there on the field, but I agree with you. If you go back to that hit early from Raphael Bush, you almost feel like the Saints needed to get to the Seattle's level with that.
And I think they've done that. They've matched it, but they've left the opportunities out there. And as you're talking about a UFC fight, we almost had a fight break out during that promo.
2nd and 6 for Lynch. And Lynch is stacked up. Let's go downstairs to Aaron.
The Seahawks practice practiced all week long for these conditions. Good for them. I'm jealous. They actually changed their gloves. These are the gloves that they're wearing today. It's a slicker surface. Normally the gloves that they would wear would have like a tacky kind of surface, help them hold the ball. But they all said to us, these are the ones we're going to use. This is actually, even though it's slicker, will help us hold on to the ball. And guys, what did Pete Carroll do to all his players' hands this week? I'll let you tell them about that.
Walked around with a spray bottle and got their hands wet. Here, 3rd and 3. I can imagine that sight. It's Lynch on the pitch and the cut, and a Seahawk first down.
When you talk about Marshawn Lynch, we hear it all the time, but just watch it. The physicality this guy runs with. First tackler, second tackler. These are defensive linemen, and he's driving the pile and falling forward. He's not done yet. He continues to run. You got to bring a lot of people to the party as a defense to tackle him, and you got to keep coming.
Is it me, or does he actually look for people to hit? I mean, that's what it seems like. On first down, it's Kellen Davis in motion. Here's Lynch. Good cut. Lynch up the gut. And another big run. He's going to pick up 8 for Roman Harper. Made the stop. Well, Marshawn Lynch, I don't know if you know, has some history against the New Orleans Saints. He's 67-yard touchdown run a few years ago. Here's this one.
Well, you talk about the physicality, but then the athleticism, the little jump cut, the lateral quickness, and then finishing the run again. David Hawthorne, his former teammate, he eludes him in the hole, and then he's always finishing runs.
Lynch gets a breather as Turbin in there. Harvin in the game as well in the sliders. Turbin, big hole. Robert Turbin. It's a foot race, and Turbin finally out of bounds all the way down to the New Orleans 37. But hang on, there's a flag all the way back at the 29.
Holding offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's on Breno Giacomini, and there goes a 35-yard run.
Here we are on the hold. 82, Luke Wilson, and 68, Giacomini on the hold right there. He's got a handful of Akeem Hicks jersey, but one thing that's apparent, we saw it on the touchdown from Marshawn Lynch, the Saints defense is not doing a good job with the zone read. It's wide open right now, and they need to make an adjustment, and make an adjustment quick.
John, that's how Seattle started the game against New Orleans in Week 13, and they got out to a huge lead. Why do you think it's given them so much trouble here?
Well, they don't. You have to account for Russell Wilson. They're doing that. They are not accounting for the running back, whether it be Marshawn Lynch or Robert Turbin. They need to get someone on him, and he's got to do his job better.
Turbin in there now, and give it to him. He'll get up to the 22. So Turbin gains 4. And a third down is coming up. And we were talking to Wilson the other day at our meetings with the Seahawks, and he said he thought that there would be some running room for him today.
Well, and what you're seeing, because he ran the football well against the Saints. Cam Newton had a big run against the Saints weeks ago. But what the Saints have done is now adjusted for that. They're watching Russell Wilson. They got to start watching the running backs as well.
Third and 9 for Wilson. And a 4-man rush over the middle. It's Harvin, but he is shy of a first down. And again, Harvin getting into it with the Saints. The bottom line is the Seahawks will punt. Oh, this has been ongoing. It's Baldwin and Lewis. And now the Saints call a timeout.
This is looking like one of those NFC West interdivisional conference matchups. It's chippy, it's physical, and it's good football going on out there.
So with Seattle punting, the Saints call a timeout with 9:02 to go in the first half. 13-0 Seahawks. And now Drew Brees will have a chance one more time. Well, don't miss Bruno Mars performing live at the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show February 2nd. Check out exclusive content, Pepsi.com, and get hyped for halftime. Still got plenty of time for halftime here in Seattle. Weather's been a factor all day. Rain and wind, and punt by Orion is not a good one. First time punting into the wind, and you see the result. And now the Saints will have terrific field position up at their own 48-yard line. Oh, it's been chippy since before this game started, but it's Seattle on top, 13-zip. Great shot of Seattle, and a reminder as we see the score, 13-0 Seahawks in the second, as the opener of the divisional playoff weekend in the NFL here on Fox. Saints have great field position, down 13 with the wind at their backs, and Kyrie Robinson has had a good start. The undrafted rookie free agent will get it here on first down. And another good run for Kyrie Robinson, who's now still going. The ball come out there. I thought that play was dead, but now there's no whistle, so Robinson kept going all the way to 35.
Well, it was smart. He was never down. He landed on top of the player, McDaniel, never hit the ground, kept his legs churning. Outstanding instincts by Kyrie Robinson, the undrafted rookie. You see him on top of McDaniel, and here comes the tempo.
Yeah, they're going to run it fast here, and that was a great play by Robinson, getting it again. He takes a good hit, but he's inside the 30. And this guy's having a heck of a game so far.
We've talked about the comparisons to Hall of Famer Curtis Martin. Look, we aren't making him a Hall of Famer, but there's a style that resembles each other. He's patient. He darts. He typically finds the right hole. And he's very quick once he makes a decision to get downfield.
He's already got 6 carries for 43 yards. Give it to him again on 2nd and 5. Breaks through 2 tackles, but not the next couple. And Robinson there, maybe a yard. Seattle up to the challenge, and here comes 3rd down. The interesting thing is Saints are going with the wind at their back, but the possession they had to start the quarter, Breeze was high on a couple of throws. So I don't know if it's an advantage at this point or not.
Well, I think that's more, those throws were more the wet rather than the wind, and so he's got to figure out a way with this wet ball and that glove, whatever it is, to throw the football accurately, particularly here on 3rd down.
Third down and 4. Robinson the back. No Jimmy Graham in the game at this time. And it's Robinson on 3rd and 4, and he's not going to get there. Bobby Wagner came up initially, and the Saints running on 3rd and 4 now. Now the question is, do you go? Here comes Jimmy Graham, and I think there's your answer. They're going to go.
And Kevin, you know, a lot of people say this early in a game, is this smart? I think if you're going to beat a team like the Seattle Seahawks, you got to be bold. I think that's exactly what Sean Payton was thinking with that run on 3rd down. We're in 4-down territory. We're going to take 4 downs here. We'll see if they can convert.
Darren Sproles in the game at back, 4th and 4. Pressure on Breeze, steps away, throws, knocked down. Oh, he had a man coasting wide open, but Wagner got his hand on it. And the Seahawks take over.
Look over here. Initially, Drew Brees looking to his right. Wants Jimmy Graham. Great job of hugging up in space. And then Bobby Wagner attacking the line of scrimmage. Hands up. Seahawks playing tremendous football.
Well, you've got a couple quarterbacks here overcoming maybe their height, and Russell Wilson has really looked up to Drew Brees. He told us the other day, both extremely athletic, though. Brees can dunk. He's a great tennis player. Wilson was drafted by the Rockies, played himself some baseball in Asheville. At home, they've both been great at home. There with Sean Payton the last 2 years, with Sean on the sideline, 17-0. Wilson, his first 2 pro years, 15-1. Brees has the ring. Wilson trying to back him up.
Russell Wilson told us it was about in middle school that his dad said, hey, man, you got to check this guy up in Purdue out. And Russell said, I didn't even know where Purdue was, but he started watching film. And now he's playing against them and beating them.
Here's Lynch, though, on the ground with another big run. Starting to gash the Saints with the ground game. Lofton with the stop, but not before. Lynch picked up 19.
Well, you talk about winning the line of scrimmage, and the Seahawks are starting to take advantage of that. Right here, J.R. Sweezy, the right guard, Max Unger, the center. The patience of Marshawn Lynch. Then he finds the hole. Then he's gone, eludes 1 tackle, always falling forward, as we said. Seahawks starting to establish the line of scrimmage.
Marshawn Lynch all of a sudden with 68 yards rushing. We'll get it again here. And Lynch with a gain of 1. Looked like it could have been more. But the Saints up to stop. You know, the thing about Lynch too, John, he had another great year, but the ground game the last few weeks was kind of stagnant. He hasn't had a 100-yard game since week 10.
Yeah, you know, and Marshawn Lynch is a guy that has had as many carries as anybody in this league over the last couple of years. And I think he was a tired player at the end of the season. I think that bye week was tremendous for him. I talked to him at practice. He said he feels fresh. And as he said, he was ready to get busy. And he's getting real busy out here.
Oh, he's looking good, too, on a 2nd and 9. Wilson looked to throw and then up the middle and belted as he gets right to midfield. That was a hard shot that he took from David Hawthorne. Brings up a 3rd and 8. And timeout on the field. Saints. That's their 2nd of the half.
See off the zone read right now. They're going to look to throw a little bubble screen to Percy Harvin. And I'm not sure why he didn't throw it. A lot of grass right there. I'm not so sure why he did not throw it. You wonder if the wet ball, if he couldn't get a grip on it. Instead, he gets some yards. And that's one thing that Russell Wilson does do well. He doesn't make the mistake. And so while you say throw it, it looks wide open. His instinct showed him hold on to the football, get some positive yards.
John, in just 4 days, American Idol is back. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., along with Ryan Seacrest. They'll search for a superstar. Don't miss American Idol's 2-night premiere. It's this Wednesday and Thursday on Fox. Now, the one thing you talked about Wilson and Breeze, too, and said they met for the first time at the Pro Bowl last year, and said the advice that Breeze said is, hey, don't be afraid to not always make the play if it's not there. Don't be afraid to take the check down. That time didn't even take that. But now 3rd and 8. Here comes the blitz. Wilson gonna loft it up for Harvin. Should be grabbed, and he's got it. Athletic play for Harvin down to the 35 and a 16-yard gain.
We talked about him possibly being the X factor. He's matched up on Corey White. Russell Wilson just lofts it in the air. Percy Harvin goes up, high points the football, brings it in the wet, in the rain. Percy Harvin paying dividends.
Now Wilson through the raindrops, saw the blitz, just lofted it up there, and now 1st and 10 at the New Orleans 35. It's Lynch to the 30 and a gain of 5. It's Hawthorne on the tackle.
Tell you what, Marshawn Lynch is really running well today, and I'm not just talking the finish, breaking the tackles. His eyes are tremendous today. He's finding the holes. He's being extremely patient, and once he sees that holes, he's getting down the field and down the field well.
Look at the yards after contact. Through the dreary skies here in Seattle. 2nd and 5. Lynch one more time gets outside, but a flag comes behind the play, and that one looks to be coming back.
Holding offense number 76. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Seattle is the most penalized team in the league. 8 a game they've averaged.
It's Russell Okung. He's going to get a handful of jersey. Pete Carroll not so sure he agrees. Okung right here on Junior Gillette, and that's positive news for the New Orleans Saints that Junior Gillette, who was down early, back in the football game and making a difference.
And so that kills a little bit of momentum, makes it 2nd down and 15. Seahawks split Harvin in the slot top of your screen. That's Jermaine Kearse in motion. 4-man rush. Pocket breaks down. Wilson, beautiful play. Kearse down to the 15. What a play by Russell Wilson and a 1st down.
This is where Russell Wilson separates himself. He has the ability as a runner, but his eyes are always downfield. He's going to escape out of the pocket, Looks like he's going to run. Looks like he's going to take off. That's what Keenan Lewis thinks. Not so fast. Throws it to Jermaine Kearse behind him. Russell Wilson, the eyes always downfield, puts the defense in a big predicament. Excellent football play at the quarterback position.
25-yard gain and a 1st and 10. Robert Turbin in the game at running back. Fake to Turbin. Wilson. This time he's going to run it. And he'll step out of bounds inside the 10. Down to the 8. Takes us down to the 2-minute warning in Seattle. A 7-yard run. It's been all Seahawks divisional playoffs here on Fox. 13-0 Seattle and looking for more. We come back. Darrell Bevell on the right. He's your offensive coordinator for Seattle. Rob Ryan has done a great job with the Saints D, but the Seattle offense has found their footing. They've got 100 yards rushing now and looking to add to their 13-0 lead.
And I think they're really starting to impose their will, and on top of it with their run game. And then Russell Wilson, Rob Ryan can't do anything about that. He said after the last game, this guy's Houdini. He's starting to look like it.
From the 8, it's Lynch. Breaks one tackle, backing up as Humber pursues, and that Hawthorne comes over to finish him off. Great effort by Lynch just to try and make something happen there, but the Saints played it well. And now a 3rd down.
I mean, this is just a tremendous effort. It looks like it's going to be a lost cause, lost yardage. He backs up, and it looks like a dead play. Humber can't get him. He uses the stiff arm, ends up getting positive yards on it. Marshawn Lynch really came to play today. And having a fantastic game.
3rd and 3. There's Harvin, but Marshawn Lynch now splits up on top of him as a wideout. Time for Wilson. Now running out of room. Throws incomplete. He was looking for Golden Tate on the play. And now there's a flag right on the end zone.
Defense number 28. Half distance to go. Automatic 1st down.
Holding on Keenan Lewis, the cornerback, and a huge penalty.
Keenan Lewis, their best corner, working against Doug Baldwin. And it's right there. They get him for a handful of jersey on Keenan Lewis. A huge, huge penalty on the New Orleans Saints and Keenan Lewis.
That's an automatic 1st down. It's a 1st and goal. And the Saints team that was down 17-0 early the last time they met week 13. It's 13-0, and now Seattle knocking on the door.
I can tell you, Kevin, when you have a quarterback extending plays like Russell Wilson, you're used to plays being 3 seconds. When they start becoming 8 seconds, that's what you start doing. You start grabbing because receivers are running everywhere.
Here's Marshawn Lynch. And the Saints really played that well. Malcolm Jenkins was the first to get there and blow it up. And Lynch losing yardage.
I tell you, this Saints defense had a heck of a turnaround, and they're showing a lot of resolve, not necessarily going their way, but you talk about playing hard. Look at these guys get to the football, and that's what you have to do against a back like Marshawn Lynch. Jenkins misses, but here comes the posse.
Saints call their final timeout of the half. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee, preview of the Visa halftime.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we'll break down the first half of this contest between the Seahawks and the Saints. Guys, I'm trying to do a Visa promo. What are you trying to be, the 12th man or something?
Kurt, all we're trying to do, man, is tell you your zipper's down.
That's a little too much information, isn't it? It's all on the Visa halftime, Kevin and John. Oops.
Thankfully, they're sitting at the desk, John, so we don't have to see that. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, guys. There's the weather, the look from above in Seattle. Raining most of the day, wind swirling. Marshawn Lynch out of the game on a 2nd and goal. That's Harvin in motion. They'll fake it. Wilson way back now. Wilson throwing end zone. Incomplete. Harvin became open at the end but couldn't hold on. And now he's hurt on a 3rd and goal. Remember, he got his bell rung earlier in the game by Raphael Bush, who came back.
We saw the fly sweep earlier. Now they utilize Percy Harvin as a decoy with the fly sweep. Russell Wilson extends the play. But you watch at the end of this play, it's Malcolm Jenkins that's going to come over. And Kevin, you pointed to it. Percy Harvin was dinged early, went into the locker room. And it looks like he's struggling right now with that same problem.
Yeah, I see that at the end, too. The head kind of hit the turf. Pete Carroll told Aaron Andrews before the game, literally moments for the game, that Harvin's playing. He's going to play a lot. He's got the field turf bits all over his face. And he's been active, and Russell Wilson's been looking for him today.
He has been. He's been a big part of the game. Now, listen, that's part of the deal when you've only played one game. He's not in football condition. You're not used to taking hits. That's what training camp's for.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that, and I think we're seeing that right now.
It's also the second time he's taken a hit where his mouthpiece has stayed on the field when he's walked off. So they collect that. And what we have is a 3rd and goal for the Seahawks. 1:28 to go in the half. Saints are out of timeouts, by the way, as far as them getting the ball back. But regardless, they'll have time of importance. Mainly for them is keeping Seattle in the end zone, already 13-0.
And this would be huge. If you can keep it just to a field goal, you still have a 2-score game. Critical juncture in this game for the Saints defense.
3rd and goal. Wilson can run if he wants it. But now Cam Jordan closed down the play. What an effort by Cam Jordan, and Seattle will settle for a field goal try.
Well, Cam Jordan is going to Hawaii, and here is why. My goodness, watch him right here. And Russell Wilson is fast, and look at that space, and you watch him close. That's a tremendous football player by a guy who's had an outstanding season. 12.5 sacks on the season. That's just a great hustle play when his team needed it most.
By the way, it also stopped the clock, and so the Saints with 1:22 left, that's of importance. 26-yard try for Hauschka. He's got 2 field goals today. Make it 3, and so the Seahawks add to their lead, but Saints D holds at the end. 16-0 Seattle. 16-0 Seahawks. 1:18 to go first half from Seattle. Divisional playoffs on Fox. John, I got to tell you, I think Saints D has done a pretty good job considering turnovers and the wind and things like that. This game could be a lot worse right now.
Well, I think a real good job. I mean, the Seahawks are getting their running game going. Russell Wilson's doing what Russell Wilson does, frustrating defenses, but they've done a good job keeping them out of the end zone for the most part. A tremendous individual effort by Cam Jordan on that last play.
Hauschka kicks into the wind and whistles blowing here. Not sure what happened. We'll decipher that. So 1:18 to go.
The ball was falling off the tee just before the kicker kicked it. Replay.
There you go. 1:18 to go in this first half, and the Saints have the ball, no timeouts, with plenty of time. They've moved the ball well at times, and they've run the ball, but the passing game has been non-existent.
It has been, and if you're going to play that formula, which has worked against the Seattle Seahawks, you have to stay balanced. You have to run the football. You have to be able to get some big explosive plays out of the passing game. Drew Brees clearly having trouble with the wet football. He is not gripping it well, and it's been an issue for him.
Jimmy Graham doesn't have a single target today. Forget about catch, a target. They've got to find a way to get him involved. Now, granted, there's partly a reason for that, but John, they've got to get creative and get him into the game here.
And we talked to Sean Payton about that. He said that was on him. He's got to do a good job of stacking him, of motion him, of continually moving him around, and they haven't done that, and they need to. When Jimmy Graham plays well, they play well.
All right, so we'll re-kick again after the wind blew it off the tee the first time, and it does it again. He may need a holder here. Wind has been a factor. Say the rain. Look at that. That's a Drew Brees stat with 1:18 to go in the half. How many times in your life have you seen that?
This is a guy, as we showed at the start of the game, has 3 consecutive seasons over 5,000 yards. Very uncharacteristic of Drew Brees.
Well, this defense is outstanding. They held the Saints to 188 total yards. last time. Now Earl Thomas, the All-Pro safety, will hold. Why not? He does everything else. Trying to get into quite the process.
They prepare for everything. I'm not so sure they prepared for this. I've done this before, and I promise you, you're sitting there and you're thinking, please don't kick my finger. That would really hurt right about now, and if you do, I'm going to get up and hit you.
So I think Hauschka has Thomas holding the ball to his liking. And this one is in the air on its way to Darren Sproles, who will take it out. Sproles looking for a seam that just simply doesn't exist. Terrific coverage. Don't miss Bruno Mars performing live at the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show, February 2nd. Check out exclusive content at Pepsi.com. Get hyped for halftime. And so, 1:12 to halftime here in Seattle. Saints football backed up in their own territory, down 16. As we showed you, Drew Brees with 19 yards in the air.
And there's Earl Thomas. Hang in there, Earl. I told you, that's tough.
Three-man rush, and Brees comes near side for a completion to Colston. A little shy of a first down. Again, Saints out of timeouts here.
Kevin, points obviously would be huge, but some rhythm offensively probably just as important. Gonna see if Drew Brees can have some success throwing the football.
Pressure. He moves away. Incomplete. Looking for Graham that time. Earl Thomas says,
He may not be much of a holder, but the man can play some defense. A legitimate Defensive Player of the Year candidate. They talked about Jimmy Graham. When he's in space, we're taking it away, and that's how you take away space. Earl Thomas has been fantastic all season long. An excellent football player.
And now a 3rd and 1. Three-man rush. Brees feeling it, gets it away for a first down to Sproles, but time is ticking here with 38 seconds and counting. No timeouts.
The Seattle Seahawks defense. I mean, in this day and age of offensive football that hold people to an average of 14.4 points a game, you're seeing why. They fly to the football and do so quickly.
Here comes Clemens. Brees avoids. Coming back for Colston. Feet in bounds. No. Incomplete with 18 seconds to go in the half. Wow. Brees with 34 yards right now. 34 yards in a half of football. Part weather, but a lot terrific defense.
Terrific defense. Every throw is contested with this defense. If you have space, they take it away. You typically don't even have any space.
Just going to run it to Sproles, who gets buried. It's 15 seconds left. Seattle call a timeout. Why not? They do. No, they don't. Looked like they were going to, but they'll just let it run out. And so will the Saints. A dominant performance in half number 1 in Seattle. They've shut down New Orleans completely and have the 16-0 lead. Largest halftime lead in postseason history for these Seahawks, who have won 5 straight games in the playoffs at home. Offense has been good. Defense even better for the Seahawks. Visa halftime report coming up on Fox after this. Well, the rematch has looked an awful lot like the first meeting between these two teams did here in Week 13. It's been Seattle all the way 16-0 at the break. Reminder, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL NFL. Seahawks won the toss, remember, and deferred, so they not only have the big lead, but get the ball. And just to take you back to that Week 13 game, which at the time, John, was essentially for home field advantage when they played. Dominance by the Seattle D in the first half, you see. Now fast forward to today. Similar.
Yeah, and I really think the Saints have handled it a little better. They came out, they handled the environment, the noise. They left opportunities out there. They had a fumble, they missed a kick, and you can't do that against a great team like the Seahawks. We'll see if they can fight their way back into it.
So Seattle will start it out on their own 20-yard line, up 16-0. So here's the question. Drew Brees and this passing offense non-existent. How do they get it going, John?
Well, Drew Brees is having trouble with that football.
Yeah.
We talk about the gloves, not the gloves. Somehow, some way, you got to find a way. You can't abandon the run game because otherwise this pass rush is so ferocious for the Seattle Seahawks. So still have some balance, but have to find a way to make some plays down the field in the passing game.
Yeah, they've run the ball pretty well. That's not been the issue, but passing has been the issue. Jimmy Graham not involved. And now Seattle will start the second half with the ball on their own 20. Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. He had 69 yards rushing in that first half, and he'll get it to start half number 2. And Lynch battling forward for a couple of yards. And again, see the emotions running high here on the field.
You notice with the Seattle Seahawks, anytime you watch a game, it typically gets chippy at the end of runs with Marshawn Lynch because the guy never stops running, and the plays go longer than usual. As a result, a lot of pushing back and forth.
Looks like the sun's trying to peek through here in Seattle on a 2nd and 7. Lynch is going to get across 25 to the 26. Gain of 3. It's Roman Harper on the tackle.
Saints making adjustments at halftime, and we're going to see one of these adjustments getting off the field on 3rd down. They need the ball. They need the ball in their offensive hands. 3rd down, so tough against Russell Wilson because he can throw the football well. He can extend plays. Can this defense find a way to get off the field?
Well, they were 6th in the league on 3rd down defense this year. Seahawks 3 of 7 today on 3rd. Four-man rush. Wilson behind the intended receiver Lynch, incomplete. The Saints D does their job. They force a 3 and out.
Good defense by the New Orleans Saints. Really an inaccurate throw from Russell Wilson. Marshawn Lynch split out at wide receiver. Throws a little bit behind him, and the Saints are off the field. Drew Brees will get the ball back.
And now it's John Ryan, who had a tough time punting this direction in the 2nd quarter. Pressure comes, and he gets it off. Darren Sproles will call the fair catch, and the Saints will have it at their own 32 when we come back, trailing 16-0. Divisional playoffs on Fox. That's at the Seattle Aquarium, and that hermit crab's name is Marshawn Pinch. I couldn't even make it up if I tried, John. That's serious. So here are the Saints down 16-0. First possession of the 3rd quarter, going with the wind at their back. And Brees with a wide open Colston. And Marcus Colston has a big gain on 1st down to move the chains. Let's go downstairs to Aaron Andrews.
Kevin, Sean Payton told me coming out of the half, it's not the wet football giving Drew Brees a hard time, it's this wind. He said, are you down here feeling this? I said, yes, sir, I am. He also said they are trying very, very hard to get Jimmy Graham involved. They just can't. One final note about Seattle, Percy Harvin done for the day with a concussion, guys.
Wow. So you saw that hit in the back of the end zone. He is out for the game. Brees has time, and he's got a receiver. It's Meacham. That's for a 1st down. So back-to-back good throws by Brees. Maxwell on the tackle and a 16-yard gain.
He's obviously throwing the football better. He's made whatever adjustment. I don't know if it's a different glove, but starting to spin that football the way we're accustomed to seeing Drew Brees do it. Interesting, Kevin. Seattle defers to start the game. New Orleans takes the win in the 3rd quarter to try to get themselves back in this game now.
Breeze warmed up with the without the glove out of the break, John, but then put the glove back on. You're right, though. I'm curious, different glove or maybe just trying to forget about it. Not sure, but those were clearly the best 2 throws of the day. Mark Ingram, the back, and he'll get it. Not much there as Richard Sherman came up to make the tackle.
You know, Richard Sherman, an all-pro, in my mind, the best cornerback in the league. We're used to seeing him in pass coverage. In today's game, the Saints are trying to get him in that run game. Watch how he responds. A lot of corners say, not so fast, I'm a cover corner. Not Richard Sherman, in their backfield, making tackles, a complete player at the cornerback position. Nobody does it better.
Breeze will set up the screen. Benjamin Watson's not going to go anywhere. Cam Chancellor all over, and the screen game, which is usually excellent for the Saints, has been non-existent.
Well, what you see with great defenses is you think you have something. You start this play, and you think there's some space there. Not anymore. Here comes Cam Chancellor out of nowhere. You close, you take the grass, and then you finish with great tackles. The Seahawks do it on a daily, on a game basis. You think you have something, you really don't.
Play clock at 3. 3rd and 9. Pressure in Breeze's face. Down he goes. Ball comes out. And the Saints got it back, but a huge play. Cliff Averill.
Kevin, you look at that play, and who is it? It's Cliff Averill, and it's Michael Bennett. 2 free agent signings by John Schneider. Here they come, both of them. Bennett's going to get the pressure, going to force Drew Brees to hold on to the ball, and here comes Cliff Averill. 2 additions to this team that have made them from a good defense to a great defense.
And now Morstead to punt. Tate lets it go, but a good punt. And couldn't tell if it hit a Saint and then it bounced around there. But the bottom line, Seahawks ball inside their own 5. Defense dominance for Seattle. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing the SAP button on Fox. Michael Bennett, I should say, a happy dance. You know, and you talked about, John, he and Cliff Averill, free agents, honestly, that they got at a bargain basement price. Last time they played, those 2 created a sack, a forced fumble, and a touchdown, too.
Really luxury signings. They had their starting lineup in place, but to be able to go get 2 guys like that, fantastic.
Seattle from their own 6. It's Lynch. Looking for running room, not much there. Hawthorne came up to make the pop, no gain. Coming into Seattle, such a difficult task. A team that is 15-1 here the last 2 years. A team that's won their last 5 postseason games here. And you know, the way Seattle kind of finished the month, they were 2-2, and people said, "Oh, what's going on?" Well, they look as good as ever. They look like the #1 seed today. Wilson in trouble, and he's going to throw it away. Looking for Golden Tate, and a 3rd and 9. Well, John, clearly Seahawks are a good team, but you look at the record and what they've done, that's just outstanding. The Cardinals, the only team to beat them, you know, a month ago. Why are they so good here?
Well, they've got a lot of really good players, and they do have that 12th man. And as we said, that's not the decider. The players decide the game, but it's certainly a factor. They feed off each other. The energy in this town is just unbelievable.
Lynch on 3rd and 9, and he's going to move the chains. 12 yards for Marshawn Lynch and a Seahawk first down.
This offensive front's doing a tremendous job. Max Unger, the center, really controlling the football game. Watch Max Unger right there. He's going to make the seal for Marshawn Lynch. You give him a little space, and then he's going to drag people for first downs. The front line starting to establish the line of scrimmage, but Marshawn Lynch churning those legs for the valuable hidden yardage.
Lynch at 88 yards, averaging 4.6 a carry. Ricardo Lockett into the game at wide out for Seattle. Keep waiting for Russell Wilson to take one of those zone read plays. He's handed it off quite a bit, but the run game going.
I really like the game that Darrell Bevel's calling. He understands that this run game is starting to happen. That's what they are, really. When you look at the Seattle Seahawks, they're a run football team, then they're a play action off the run football team. And when you establish that run, it makes the play action all the more effective.
Doug Baldwin in motion on second down. Lynch dancing, looking for room. He's going to get maybe a yard. Ramon Humber was there to make the tackle, and it'd be a 3rd and 6.
So critical for this Saints defense right now. Their quarterback, Drew Brees, starting to establish a little bit of a rhythm throwing the football. But you want to play that field position game. If they can get a stop right here, it would be absolutely huge for them.
And it's been windy all day. You heard the EA report at half. The wind's been such a huge factor. But right now, it doesn't appear to be raining. Third and 6. They'll run it again to Lynch. And he cannot get to the edge. Corey White from the secondary makes a great play, and the Saints will get the ball.
Well, Corey White makes the tackle, but Roman Harper makes this play. Watch him. He's going to come in motion with Zach Miller, the tight end, and then watch it. He takes the grass, takes out the offensive lineman Russell Okung, and here comes Corey White. Good football by this New Orleans Saints defense that's really fighting today.
And so John Ryan will punt it away on a 4th and 8. Sproles decides to let it go. And it'll bounce down around the 39. So the Saints, who moved the ball well until that 4th down stop last time, will put it in the hands of Drew Brees, down 16 here in the 3rd. 16-0 Seahawks. 3rd quarter NFL Divisional playoff weekend in Seattle. Look at that number. 34 in the first half today. Brees completed a couple nice balls on their opening possession of the 3rd, but they were stopped on 4th down in Seattle territory. Got a lot of time here, coming near side, and it's way short. Looking for Colston, incomplete. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download it now. Jimmy Graham goes out. He doesn't have a catch. It's unbelievable. I mean, we're late 3rd quarter, and the best tight end in the game doesn't have a catch. Robinson in at tailback. They give it to him, and Robinson is in trouble, and down he goes, and the ball came out. Seattle says they have it. Now we get the signal that he was down. Let's see.
The runner was really bound by contact. 3rd down.
I think Bennett was in to make that play happen, but they say it's down, and it'll be the Saints' ball.
You talk about the acquisitions and the fans reacting to whether the ball was out or not. But Michael Bennett having one heck of a game.
There's a flag on the play. That was Bobby Wagner.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 54. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
John, is that not a fumble? I didn't see him get touched when he went down there.
I did not see him get touched at all.
That's a
Here's
fumble.
Kyrie Robinson. No one's touched him as of yet. He gets up, and once he gets up, Michael Bennett causes the fumble. And so listen, just because the penalty doesn't mean that that last fumble could not be challenged. We'll see if Pete Carroll throws that challenge flag.
That's a fumble. But they say he was down, so it's the Saints football. Can they take advantage? Robinson spinning and sliding his way to the Seattle 45 for a 6-yard run. Tyree Robinson's had good impact on this game. 50 yards on the ground.
And Kevin, every drive when you're behind against the Seattle Seahawks is so critical, but they have the wind. They have the field position. They've got to get points out of this drive. Absolutely, absolutely critical.
Jimmy Graham lines up top of your screen with Richard Sherman on him. Breeze looks that way, batted down at the line of scrimmage. I believe it was Tony McDaniel.
The ball was batted down, but look at the coverage from Richard Sherman. They're frustrating Jimmy Graham. You see him at the end of that play. He's frustrated. He's getting hit at the line of scrimmage every single play. He doesn't have a catch. Richard Sherman said that's exactly what they wanted to do. Make it a long day for Jimmy Graham.
On 3rd and 4, they're going to run it. And Sproles is tripped up. Bobby Wagner with a heck of a tackle and a 4th down.
Tackling Darren Sproles in space is not an easy thing. And Bobby Wagner playing the middle linebacker position. Gets that hand on that leg, takes Darren Sproles down. Sean Payton keeps his offense out there going for it on 4th down.
They will go. Remember, they were stopped earlier in the quarter on 1st down. This is a 4th and 3. Breeze has got nothing over the middle. Incomplete. He was looking for Lance Moore. Maxwell came up on the coverage. Seahawks take over. Pressure on Breeze from Averill. Throw was a little in front of Moore. This Seahawks defense is dominating at home today. 16-0 Seattle.
You take a look at that last play. Jimmy Graham, they're doing everything they can to get him involved in this game, but the Seattle defense is relentless. There's no space. Drew Brees looking for Jimmy Graham. Instead, he comes back to Lance Moore, and it looks like they play with 15 people on the field because they come from everywhere.
Seattle takes over after stopping the Saints again on 4th down, and Wilson with time and couldn't find his man. Looked like he was going to pull the trigger for Doug Baldwin deep, but going to be dropped for a sack.
This New Orleans defense has been asked time and time again to stand up to Russell Wilson in this Seattle Seahawks offense. It gets tougher each and every time because this is a good offense. They're running the football. They've done a great job of not giving up the big play, the explosive play, and that's kept them in this game.
Hey, go scoop.
2nd and 10, and it's Marshawn Lynch. Roman Harper going to ride him down after gaining 3 yards, and a 3rd down coming up for the Seahawks. You know, John, if you're on that New Orleans sideline now and you're trying to figure out, you know, what do you do? I mean, Saints have at least had some positive plays in this 3rd quarter, but how do you break through here and get something?
It's tough, and Jimmy said it during the halftime show. This defense that's doing a valiant job, having a valiant effort out there. You got to find a way to make a play, a turnover, because it's going to be awful tough to score on this Seattle defense.
Seahawks 4 of 10 on 3rd down today. Wilson looking for Baldwin, a little low, incomplete. And again, the Saints D does their job, and they force a Seattle punt.
Saints D has been physical on these Seattle receivers all day long. Roman Harper right there makes Doug Baldwin feel his presence, and another terrific job getting off the field for the New Orleans Saints defense.
Well, we're talking about Saints looking for anything. Darren Sproles does have 3 punt return touchdowns in his career. Ryan, he drops it, but recovers in time and gets off a flubbing punt. And this will roll down around the 25. The Saints will take over there with 2:38 to go in the third quarter. Tough to win in Seattle. And the #1 seed Seahawks have been up to the task. 16-0 over the Saints in the third. As you see that, you look at the scoreboard here in Seattle. 16-0 Seahawks. 2:38 to go in the third quarter. And the Saints have had all kinds of trouble against this #1 overall defense so far today. Darren Sproles in the backfield. And Breeze will hit Colston up across the 30. Cam Chancellor on the stop. Well, it's your game, it's your show, and this week the guys will bring you complete analysis of the divisional games, a preview of championship weekend, and the latest on the head coach openings around the league. Fox Football Daily, weeknights at 6 Eastern, only on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. John, you're on that show.
I'll be up there Thursday.
Pete Carroll looks on. Meets him in motion on a second down. And it's Ingram who fights his way forward for a first. 7 yards for Mark Ingram.
Again, this is the New Orleans Saints took the win in this third quarter. They've had 2 chances at drives. They haven't been able to score points. This is their last opportunity right here before this quarter ends. Then they'll be swimming upstream against that wind. Great opportunity. Can they take advantage of it?
Breeze with a lot of time going up top for Josh Hill, who makes a good catch inside the 40. The third string tight end has to grab. Maxwell on the tackle, but Hill has the Saints inside the 40.
And that's a fantastic catch. Drew Brees puts it up there. He trusts Josh Hill to go get that football, and that's exactly what he does. They needed a big play. Can that be the one that gives them that spark that they need to turn it into points?
23-yarder, the longest play of the day for the Saints. Raise your hand if you thought Josh Hill would have a catch for Jimmy Graham. Again, Breeze with a lot of time now, and he's going for Colston. He makes the catch inside the 20, and the Saints are down at the 15-yard line, mark at the 14.
They've run the football all day long, and so the play action pass starts to be effective. Seahawks stacking the line of scrimmage. Drew Brees, Sean Payton said, you're going to stack the line of scrimmage. We're going to run receivers, tight ends behind you. And Drew Brees starting to handle the elements, throwing the football with effectiveness.
Rain coming down a little harder now in Seattle. 8 seconds left in the quarter. They give to Ingram up the middle. He works his way down to the 11, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter here in rainy Seattle. The #1 seed Seahawks have the 16-0 lead. Saints have a good drive. We'll come back with the fourth quarter. Saints have the ball at the 11 going in to start the fourth quarter, down 16-0. Fake to Ingram. Breeze has some time over the middle to Moore, and he's got a first down to the 2. It'll be a first and goal for the Saints, who have finally found something on offense on this drive.
Well, they're doing such a great job with Jimmy Graham, getting hands on him. Someone else has to step up. We saw Josh Hill do it. Now we see Lance Moore. Good, accurate football by Drew Brees. They move the chains. First down for the Saints.
That's Jimmy Graham, number 80 in white, the tight end. They're going to run it, though. And powering forward, Ingram going nowhere. The Saints run into a brick wall. That is Seattle's D. Malcolm Smith there, Cam Chancellor too.
There you see it. Tough to get in the end zone at all. 0 rush TDs allowed in the last 9 games. Unbelievable.
Kyrie Robinson at tailback in a jumbo set. It is Robinson running right, and he's going to be stopped shy as well. It's Chancellor. 3rd and goal.
One of the things I love about this Seattle defense, we see Earl Thomas, the little guy, all over the field. Well, here's the big safety, the physical presence. He fights off the block, then he slams Kyrie Robinson. Great versatility of skill on this defense of the Seattle Seahawks.
Saints bring in an extra tackle, no Jimmy Graham. They try and run it in with Robinson, and he's in. Touchdown, New Orleans.
How do they go for 2? Right away they signal. Drew Brees is signaling. They go for 2 right away. But what a run by Kyrie Robinson. This looks like nothing's there. Kyrie Robinson hurdles Michael Bennett, then gets himself in the end zone. Sean Payton and the Saints do not hesitate to go for 2.
I like it for 2 reasons. Number 1, against the Seattle D, tough to move. Number 2, now going into the win, field goal is tough to come by.
Absolutely. I like it.
They give to Ingram, and the 2-point conversion is good. And in Seattle, we've got a 1-score game.
And to think, Kevin, that this whole drive, the momentum started with a play to their 3rd-string tight end, Josh Hill, and culminates with the 2-point conversion by Mark Ingram.
Oh, Drew Brees brought the Saints to life with a terrific drive. 4 for 4 on that drive. Kyrie Robinson, the touchdown run, and then more importantly, the 2-point conversion. And all of a sudden, John, after Seattle has really controlled this game the entire day, it's a 1-score affair now with plenty of time to go.
Well, now it's on Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Can they answer that momentum swing? Clearly, the momentum just shifted to the New Orleans Saints. We talked so much about Drew Brees with 34 yards. Now he has 130. Russell Wilson with only 68 on this day.
And with Harvin out with a concussion, Doug Baldwin will return the kick. Oh, and he's going to take it out. Indecisive, and then it gets flipped end over end. A big-time tackle by Trevin Wade. And there's a penalty, too. So we'll see what the penalty's on.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team number 53, late hit, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's got to drive you crazy if you're Sean Payton. I mean, well, a play like that.
It's such a tremendous play by Trevin Wade, upending the runner, and then Ramon Humber goes and pit. You know, that's just not a smart football play. You pin Seattle back. You've got the momentum to make a silly penalty like that. You just can't do it.
And you talked about Russell Wilson. At the half, Drew Brees had 34 yards. So he's now up to 130 with a good 3rd quarter. Russell Wilson, he's only at 68 yards in a 1-score game. Now it's on him with Lynch in the backfield. And the ball at the 31. Wilson in trouble. Jordan right on him, and he's going to throw it away. Cam Jordan so fast. On the edge.
So fast is right, because time and time again you see on film people underestimating the speed of Russell Wilson. Not Cam Jordan. Right there, keeps him in the pocket and makes him throw the football away. This guy is an outstanding young football player. Talk about outstanding. This defense keeping the Saints in the game, keeping the Seahawks out of the end zone as many times as they have, keeps them in this game.
When you think about it, one of Seattle's touchdowns, they got the fumble from Ingram on the 24, and that's how they scored. So this defense has really played well. 2nd down, they're going to get Zach Miller, the tight end, his first catch of the day. And Miller's got a Seattle 1st down before Corey White made the tackle.
See Zach Miller, good concentration, staying with that football. Moves the chains for the Seattle Seahawks.
I tell you, with these elements, you've seen just a routine thing. Snapping a punt has become difficult.
Hey,
Miller's first catch today and a first down for the Seahawks. It's Lynch. And Hawthorne and company meet Lynch for no gain. Coming up tomorrow, divisional round continues on Fox. If you like defense, have a feeling you might see a little. Niners, Panthers in Carolina. Joe Troy and Pam on the call there, and the 49ers playing great on the road, a great win in Green Bay, but Carolina Panthers 4 straight wins over San Francisco, including one this year, 10-9. Zach Miller, number 86, in motion. And a play fake, and Wilson going to go for it all. Incomplete. He was looking for Golden Tate. It was overthrown, but also very good coverage by Keenan Lewis.
You see Keenan Lewis, he was such a key in last week's game, holding Deshaun Jackson in check. When he went out, it was noticeable. He's back, and that's just really good coverage by Keenan Lewis. Kind of unheralded free agent signing that has paid tremendous dividends for this New Orleans Saints defense, who's gone out, who has transformed themselves in one calendar year.
Tate's been quiet. He's their leading receiver on the year, and now a 3rd and 10. Marshawn Lynch, top of your screen, lined up as a wide receiver. Wilson. Here comes pressure. Wilson still going on his feet, going to tuck and run, and drag down from behind. Reaching out. Where are they going to mark this? He is going to be shy of a first down. And the Seahawks will have to punt it away.
Again, just great defense. Russell Wilson wants out of that pocket. They do a tremendous job keeping him in the cage. And then you just got to make plays when it matters most. And that's exactly what Roman Harper does. The fans want a horse collar. He lets go, does not pull him down right now. That's a great play by Roman Harper.
And in a 1-score game, the Saints will get it back. Sproles watches this one, and Jeremy Lane, their best special teams player, will make sure that the Saints are backed up at their own 6. But now in the hands of Drew Brees. Saints looking for the tie, down 16-8. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance. 12th man flag rising high atop the Space Needle. And the Seahawks looking for that crowd help now. Saints down by 8, 10:32 to play. Divisional round of the NFL playoffs, but backed up at their own 6. Handoff to Robinson. Good run, bursting up the middle. And he's going to be a 1.5 yards shy of a first down. Chancellor made the stop.
Bill Parcells told his former protege, Sean Payton, give this young man the ball, Kyrie Robinson. Sean Payton's listening. And boy, was that big to get out of that being backed up. Excellent run by Kyrie Robinson.
He had 54 carries all year. He's been a big factor today. 2nd and 1. Over the middle, it's Colston for a Saints first down, and all of a sudden, doesn't it feel like Drew Brees has found a rhythm?
Absolutely. He looks like a different quarterback. The ball is spinning out of his hand. He's got control of it. I don't know if he switched gloves, if he had a little pep talk with himself. This is the Drew Brees we are all accustomed to seeing.
After that first half, he's come to life. You have to think at some point Jimmy Graham is a factor in this game. No catches for the guy who had 16 touchdowns this year. They're going to set up a screen to Cadet. Travaris Cadet, seldomly used, and he'll drop it. Well, Seattle's defense has been outstanding all year. #1 in just about everything, John.
They are good. They're versatile. They've got the big and thick guys that they can put at you on first and second down. They've got the NASCAR crew they can bring in, the speed rushers. But the best thing about this defense, the back end. 3 All-Pros, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, and Cam Chancellor. But this is what #1 defenses live for, these type of situations right here.
That's Graham, bottom of your screen. Play clock at 1, and Breeze called timeout. Did he do it in time? He did. So just before the play clock was about to hit 0, the Saints call their first time out of the second half. They've come alive, though, trailing by a score in Seattle. It is rocking and rolling here in Seattle. Drew Brees on second down. Pressure up the middle. Gets away. Throws on the run. He's got Colston for a first down and a big gain. Marcus Colston out to the 37 and a gain of 16.
We talk so much about the athleticism of Russell Wilson. Watch this. Sean Payton calls him a brilliant foot athlete. Gets his way out. Looks like he's going to run. Eyes downfield. Pushes it up to Marcus Colston. Unbelievable play by Drew Brees, an unbelievable player.
On first down, they're going to give to Ingram in that running game. It's been working all day for New Orleans. And Ingram tackled by Meadbane, but not before a 6-yard run.
Well, Kevin, you talk about the run game. If there's a common thread to the losses that Seattle has had, the latest one, Arizona, ran 43 times. San Francisco, they ran it upwards of 30 times. In Indianapolis, they ran it 29 times. You have to run to keep this pass rush off balance.
Saints go 5 wide on a second down and 4. Only a 3-man rush, and there's a flag. Averill coming after Brees, who unloads it for Stills, who makes the catch. But I think this one might be coming back on hold.
Holding offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, it's Cliff Averill working against Zach Strief. And he comes with the power rush. He pushes him right back into Drew Brees. And great call by Terry McCauley all over it. And it's a shame because Drew Brees got out of that pocket and found Kenny Stills.
And that was against a 3-man rush. But Averill was too much to handle.
How big have Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill been to this team, to this defense?
On second down, Brees in trouble again. Throws, intercepted, dropped. Right in the hands of Chancellor, but he couldn't hang on.
Well, those are ones you can't let get away. Chancellor does a tremendous job, but doesn't finish the deal. But still, the Saints in third and long situation.
Play clock at 2. 3rd and 14. Brees over the middle. Incomplete. Oh, my goodness. Earl Thomas. He's jumping over people, John.
Well, Erin Andrews on our crew teases me. She says, I got a man crush on this guy, and I do, because I like great football players, and this is a great football player. Watch Earl Thomas close on that football. You want to know why Jimmy Graham doesn't have a catch yet today? Because of plays like that by Earl Thomas. He's done it all year long. Great football player.
That was tremendous. And now Morstead punting. Good kick. And Tate's going to watch it go out of bounds. Great punt by Morstead, but what a play by the Seattle secondary. Your guy, Earl Thomas, and this Seahawk defense. 16-8, Seattle. Oh, you get a little love from your coach when your all-pro safety just made the play that he made.
Pete Carroll is an old defensive back coach. That's his roots. And you can tell by this football team because they are the best defensive backfield in football.
Pete was a safety when he played at Pacific, and he's got to love his secondary today. Here's Marshawn Lynch on first down. Don't miss Bruno Mars performing live at the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show. It's February 2nd. Check out exclusive content, Pepsi.com. Get hyped for halftime.
Kevin, you have to wonder, the Saints defense has been tremendous in hanging in there, continuing to frustrate and keep the Seattle offense out of the end zone. Can they continue to do it?
Marshawn Lynch at 98 yards on the game. He'll get it here and fighting for, that should put him at 100. It'd be his third playoff 100-yard game, and he'll bring up a 3rd and short.
Rob Ryan understanding what a critical moment in this game. Only 6 minutes left. He had no safety in the middle of the field, selling out to stop the run. Marshawn Lynch still getting positive yards.
It's incredible how loud this place gets on D and how quiet it is when they're on offense. 3rd and 2. Four-man rush on the slant to Tate, incomplete. Lewis all over Golden Tate. And this Saints defense, what they've done all day, keep them in the game.
Absolutely. You fight hard to get to these 3rd down situations, and then you got to make a play, and they're continually doing it. Keenan Lewis again on Golden Tate. Great coverage, great finish to the play by Keenan Lewis.
They've held Seattle to a field goal their last 7 possessions. And the Saints will get it back. John Ryan. Sproles calling the fair catch at the 28. Well, the weather's been all over the place in Seattle. Big storms came through last night. Today, 11:45, monsoon conditions. Howling winds, the rain coming down hard, and then just like that, the sun pops out, the rain goes away, but then more rain right around game time. It's been windy all day. It's been a factor. We've seen bobbled snaps, drop balls, a missed field goal. And what we have now is 5:31 left from Seattle in this NFL divisional matchup. Wind is howling here, and the Saints have the football at their own 28, down by 8. Tyree Robinson with a couple of cuts, but there's a penalty after a short gain. And they will sort this one out. Think about the Saints.
Holding offense number 89. 2-yard penalty. First down.
Saints had some momentum before a big holding penalty on Streif last time, and now this one on Hill.
There's Josh Hill working against Malcolm Smith. And as Malcolm Smith tries to disengage, Josh Hill gets his hands outside the framework of his body, and they catch him.
First down and 20. Time for Breeze, just going to throw it into the ground. Got Ingram there. Now we get a penalty. Ingram was in the area, but maybe the flag is on something else.
Holding defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It was a screen pass. Here's Chris Clemens. He's going to grab Mark Ingram as the ball's in the air. Right there, Drew Brees smart to throw the football. Ball in the air.
He did the same exact thing against Philadelphia last week. Just saw that penalty happening through the ball, almost to tell the official, hey, penalty. It's all 1st and 10. He's got a lot of time here. He's going to air it out deep. He's looking for Meacham. Meacham's got it off the bubble. Makes a cut, and he's taken down inside the 25.
And this looks like Auburn versus Georgia. The ball's in the air. You've got the likely Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Earl Thomas closing in on it. And instead, he misses it, and it goes to Robert Meacham. My goodness, what a break for the New Orleans Saints.
And a 52-yard gain. Seahawks have dropped 2 interceptions here the last 2 drives. Got to hurry. The play clock's at 5. They don't get it off. I don't know if the officials noticed. Yes, they did. Flag comes in. That's a delay.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
They've had their issues with this on the road, John. They got a couple of those here the first time. Remember that game at the Jets where they had a few of those delay of games? It's been a factor for the Saints offense on the road.
You know what else has been a factor? As good as this Seattle defense is, you mentioned the 2 dropped interceptions, the holding penalty on Clemens. They had the Saints where they wanted them. That let them off the hook.
Ball on the 30. Looking at Darren Sproles. Breeze goes the other way over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Mark Ingram. And a second down and 15 coming up.
Michael Bennett pressuring once again. Outstanding player, came from Tampa. Have had him as a situational rusher, but his play is anything but situational. His presence is felt.
Again, the play clock down at 5. They're not going to get this off, and they've got to burn a timeout. That's unbelievable. So they burn a timeout, do the Saints. Their second timeout of the half, so they've got 1 left. With 4:04 to go in the game, trailing by 8. Well, crowd is an issue. And why for something like that? The crowd, it's just impossible to hear. 132 opposing false starts. That's the most. Remember that game in 05? They forced 11 false starts against the Giants.
Unbelievable. Coming off the delay, the Saints forced to use a timeout and give a game ball to the 12th man if they can pull this one off.
And so it's 2nd and 15. Saints with 1 timeout left. Got to say this is 4-down territory, trailing by 8. Darren Sproles in the game at running back. Jimmy Graham split top of your screen. He doesn't have a catch. Near side for Colson, incomplete. He was not even remotely open.
This is what the Seattle Seahawks do. They make it tough off the line of scrimmage. They don't allow free releases. And this crowd makes it awful hard to communicate.
And all of a sudden, a big gust of wind and rain pouring down onto the field. Saints need to get to the 15. Try to set up the screen, incomplete. Cliff Averill forcing the action again. Do you even attempt a field goal here? It's 4th and 15.
You're headed into the wind. Sean Payton is going to send Shane Graham on the field. He thinks the odds on 4th and 15 are just too big. He's going to try to kick one into the wind.
Wow. This is a big kick for Shane Graham. Career long is 53. This is 48 into a windstorm. Luke McCown, the holder, is a quarterback. Just keep an eye on that. And this one is not even close. Seahawks take over with 3:51 to go.
Shane Graham had been so clutch. They replaced Garrett Hartley. He had been 6 of 6, including a game winner last week. Today, not so lucky. 0 for 2 for Shane Graham. This makes it awful tough on this New Orleans Saints football team.
But now here's the thing. Game's not over. There's 3:51 to go. Saints have 1 timeout left.
This defense has been excellent for the Saints. They've done it time and time again. Now it's time for Russell Wilson, for Marshawn Lynch, for this offense for the Seattle Seahawks to close a football game out.
They fake it to Lynch. Wilson in trouble. Gillette chasing, incomplete, which stops the clock. That's unbelievable. So, no timeout needed for the Saints.
Now watch this. No safety in the middle of the field. You may say, why are they throwing on first down? Because they're loading the line of scrimmage. But I still believe you run the football. You make that clock tick. Remember, the Saints are working into the win. You play the field position game. Instead, they throw it 0 time off the clock.
To save the Saints 40 seconds. Kellen Davis in motion on 2nd and 10. Here they will run it. Lynch breaking tackles. And Lynch is up to the 45. 7 yards on the run. It'll be a 3rd and 3.
Marshawn Lynch, the power. Junior Gillette can't overrun him because he's too strong. He'll throw you with that stiff arm. And the play is never over when Marshawn Lynch is running the football. That's Akeem Hicks. He's 330 pounds. Marshawn Lynch just kind of shrugged him off.
Lynch at 109 yards, 3rd and 3. They clock at 1. Time for Wilson, throwing it deep for Baldwin. He's got it! How about the guts to throw it on 3rd and 3, and Baldwin makes the catch. 24-yard gain.
I got to tell you, Pete Carroll's always been bold. When they go back to throw it, I'm thinking, what are they doing? But they had a nice play, a nice design, and Doug Baldwin goes up and gets that football. Does he have control as that left leg goes out of bounds? We'll see. I'd challenge if I were the New Orleans Saints. And there it is. The challenge flag is out.
Well, I think you almost have to challenge at that point, John.
Now watch. The ball is still moving, not total control. The ball's still loose. Corey White gets his hand.
Ooh. But the pass was incomplete.
Now on the catch, you need 3 things. You need control, you need 2 feet, and what they say is an act common to the game, a football move. But watch here, still not, he hits it. Is that technically control? Very close and obviously an important call. We'll come back with the big replay after this. What's bringing Mike Pereira from LA? Mike, is this a catch?
Key thing here, they ruled a catch. He gets possession of the ball with the left hand, and the right knee touches before the left foot hits out of bounds. I think this stays a catch.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver controlled the pass throughout the process of the catch. His knee came down in bounds. First down, Seattle. New Orleans is charged with their 3rd and final timeout. They may not challenge the remainder of the game.
So there you go. No timeouts left for the Saints. They will get the 2-minute warning with 2:48 to go.
I think that's a challenge Sean Payton had to take.
Yeah.
You can't leave him in your pocket, so you take that challenge. It was close. Terry McAulay on the same page as Mike Pereira with that control and the right knee down.
And so the Saints can only stop it at the 2-minute warning. Seahawks go jumbo package on 1st and 10. Here's Lynch to the outside. Marshawn Lynch. Touchdown. Seahawks is literally shaking in Seattle. ...140 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns for Marshawn Lynch, and the Seahawks may have just punched their ticket to the conference finals.
A great run by Marshawn Lynch, but watch Jermaine Kearse right there, going to come in your screen. That's the key block. And then Marshawn Lynch one-on-one with Keenan Lewis, who's been outstanding today, but you're not going to get Marshawn Lynch. What a block by Jermaine Kearse, just enough to get Marshawn Lynch to the perimeter, and this press box is shaking. Seismic activities going on. Unbelievable run by Marshawn Lynch. Great block by Kearse. And that looks like that will be the dagger. Pete Carroll with Tom Cable, Darrell Bevel.
Roderick Bunkley, not so thrilled. The Saints D has played a whale of a game. But I'll tell you what, to be bold and to win a Super Bowl, sometimes you got to take chances. On a 3rd and short, they threw the ball deep to Doug Baldwin, and that's the game. I mean, that's an unbelievable gutsy call, and it worked.
Yeah, it'd be second-guessed if it didn't work, because no time would have expired. But early in the game, you get a couple Skittles, but when you have a game winner, you get a whole bag of Skittles. Marshawn Lynch has been outstanding.
Here's the kickoff out of the end zone. The night before Super Bowl 48, find out who'll take home the NFL's most prestigious awards. Tune in for the announcement of Rookie of the Year, MVP, the 2014 Hall of Fame class, and more. Saturday, February 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. And if that touchdown didn't just blow the roof off this place, it's about to get loud. 23-8 Seahawks. They're 240 away from going to the conference finals. Here's Breeze. Over the middle to Colston. And a first down for New Orleans. Again, out of timeouts. They could stop it at the 2-minute warning. And so the Seahawks, if they hold on, will face the winner of tomorrow's game in Charlotte. San Francisco taking on the Carolina Panthers. The winner will come here. Breeze over the middle and a big hit. Moore holds on. First down, Saints, 2:10 to go. See if they get one more play for the 2-minute warning.
That would be big. Out of timeouts. We'll see if Drew Brees, 3 seconds. 2, 1, doesn't look like they'll get it off.
And so we've hit the 2-minute warning here. They'll blow this play dead. 2 minutes to go. Game's not over yet, but the Seahawks looking to celebrate, looking to advance to the Final Four. We come back. Marshawn Lynch, I promise you, well, he promised a big game. He's delivered 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. We promise you State Farm postgame with Kurt and the fellas coming up, but it's not done yet. 2 minutes to go. Saints trailing by 2 scores. Out of timeouts. Breeze, there's a flag over the middle. This might be another hold. Colston makes the catch at the 44 first, but I think it's coming back again. Let's see. And now the signal to Seattle.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 56. Penalties decline. First down.
It's Cliff Averill with hands to the face. Declined as they got the reception, and Drew Brees putting together an impressive drive. 15-point game, 2-score game. Can they get a quick one, then possibly get an onside kick?
Brees has time here, going across the middle. What a catch! Colston, another first down. Inside the 25, 145 and ticking. Again, no timeouts for the Saints. They could spike it here if they choose. 16-yard gain. Four-man rush. Brees. It Sproles inside the 20. Minute 23 to go and counting. Thurman on the tackle. Saints choosing not to spike it here. second down. Backside, there's a flag. He's looking for Stills. Let's see what the penalty is here.
That usually,
Defense.
yeah.
12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So, John, they got a first. There's 1:08 to go. This game's not over.
That's huge right there, because you get the first down, you get the clock stoppage. Far from over.
Yeah. Jimmy Graham today, not a single catch. 16 touchdowns for Jimmy Graham on the year. Not one catch today. From the Seattle 13, it's Breeze looking for Graham, end zone, incomplete. Cam Chancellor, good coverage. And he ran into Earl Thomas, and both guys got nicked on the play. Thomas is hurt.
That was a little Seahawk on Seahawk crime. The two safeties, the two all-pros.
Seattle was charged with their first team timeout due to injury under 2 minutes.
See Cam Chancellor, then Earl Thomas going to come lay it out. If it wasn't his own teammate, it'd be a personal foul. But Earl Thomas takes the worst of it.
Boy, oh boy, I mean, you can't forget about right now the final minute 3, but if Seattle does win in advance, you can't have that guy hurt.
I think he'll be fine. That just looked like getting the wind knocked out of him. Earl Thomas up.
And what a game he's had. 2 tackles, a couple passes defense. Remember that flying pass defense over the middle on Graham earlier in the quarter. And he does look to be okay, John, as you said. So a 2nd and 10 for New Orleans. They've got it at the 13. With 1:03 to go, Saints out of timeouts. Of course, Maragos, the reserve safety, comes in from Earl Thomas, number 42. Breeze, incomplete. Lance Moore turned around looking for a defensive holding call, not going to get it. 3rd down.
Well, there's a lot of receivers in this league that play the Seahawks and think there's a holding play, a pass interference on every play. They make it tough on you. There's always contact. A lot of receivers argue too much contact. Lance Moore feels like he's held by Jeremy Lane. He may have a case.
Third and 10. Pressure from Irvin. Breeze comes near side complete, and we get a flag. Moore with the catch, Sherman on the tackle, and this is gonna go against New Orleans.
Offensive PI.
Pass interference. Offense, number 16.
And so forget the catch to Moore.
Kevin, what they do, they frustrate you, the way they suffocate you. So sometimes the only way you feel like you can get open is to push off. And that's exactly what Lance Moore did.
If you're wondering why there's not a 10-second runoff at home, by the way, it's a live ball penalty, so you don't get that 10-second runoff. 3rd and 20. 52 seconds left. They're going to dump it to Sproles. And he's inside the 10. Saints have 4th down here with 42 seconds in counting, their last-ditch effort.
You got to hurry, and you got to get to the end zone. Don't worry about a first down. Get it to the end zone so you have a chance at an onside kick.
Here's the game. End zone, and Colston's got it. Touchdown. This is not over. 26 seconds ago, Saints can kick the extra point and be within 1 score in the 2-point conversion.
Well, what a throw by Drew Brees, and what a catch by Colston. He knows he's going to get popped. Richard Sherman delivers it. Colston hangs on, and you got to admire the spirit of these New Orleans Saints continuing to fight to the end.
So the Saints still fighting. Down 8, 26 seconds left, no timeout. It's improbable, but comes down to an onside kick. Drew Brees, big drive converting on the 4th down. Now to come down to recovering the onside kick to stay alive. Saints have tried 2 onside kicks this year. They've recovered both of them.
Number of different ways you can go through this. Both special teams coaches, Brian Schneider for the Seahawks, talking about the possible scenarios. You see all the big athletes, Colston, Jimmy Graham's out there. It's going to be Shane Graham, who's 1 of 6 in his career on onside attempts. It's going to do the kicking duties.
The Saints need to recover this, and then they need a touchdown and a 2-pointer and 26 seconds left. Well, there you see it. They've gotten both tries this year. But Graham has not kicked both those tries. He just got signed a few weeks ago.
There's Jimmy Graham.
And the Seahawks call a timeout. So the Saints hanging in with the Drew Brees drive. And a reminder, State Farm postgame show coming up next on Fox. Kurt and the fellows will take you through this game. Preview the rest of the weekend as well. 23-15 Seahawks, 26 seconds ago. Saints down 8. They need the onside kick, and they're out of timeouts. Keep that in mind. Tomorrow, big one from Charlotte. It's the 49ers and the Panthers, 2 of the best defenses in the league. Panthers won their first matchup 10-9 at San Francisco. Joe, Troy, and Pam will have that one for you. We're in windy, rainy Seattle, where the Seahawks are a kick recovery away from advancing to the conference finals at home. Hands team on.
Here's Zach Miller expecting the kick over there. Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate in the middle. All their good hands, people.
Here's the kick. It's dropped. Saints have it. Colston got it, and this game is not done. 26 seconds to go. Right into the arms of Marcus Colston.
Just kicked a line drive at Golden Tate, probably the guy you'd want to catch it. Your #1 receiver, right off his chest. Lance Moore breathing down his neck, and Colston smartly gets down right away. Now remember, no timeouts. You got to try to get the ball downfield, then get out of bounds or spike it.
26 seconds to go. 59 yards to go.
Boy, are those missed field goals looming large right about now.
2 of them for the Saints. Over the middle they go. There's a catch by Graham, but that's not going to get it done.
Now you got to clock it right away, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Get it to 13 seconds. At the very least, get a little bit more yardage so you can throw the Hail Mary here, John.
Tough situation. I think what you try to do now, be mindful that the Seattle Seahawks know this. They're going to do everything they can to keep you in bounds. Middle of the field, don't give up that throw. But if you're the Saints, try to get some yardage, then get out of bounds. If not, you got to, on the next play, take the shot downfield for the Hail Mary.
13 seconds left. Brees in trouble. Coming near side. Colston's wide open. And now he's going to throw it forward. That's a forward pass. There's a penalty all day long. Cadets got it. And that one is not going to work. Colston made the catch. He should have went out of bounds. This should be a forward pass and a runoff and the game over. Let's see.
Illegal forward pass on the offense beyond the line. By rule, there will be a 10-second runoff. The game is over.
And the Seattle Seahawks hold on to knock off the Saints 23-15. And the #1 seed advances to the conference final. So the Seahawks get it done on home turf. And now one win away from the Super Bowl at MetLife Stadium.
Terrific effort by the #1 seed. Seattle Seahawks, they played like a #1 seed, but you have to admire the fighting spirit of the New Orleans Saints, who made this a game right to the end.
Seahawks advancing with a 23-15 win. Post-game show with Kurt and the boys coming up next. Here from Seattle, the Seahawks with the win over the Saints.